All right, welcome back. You're listening to another episode of Tyler Talks to Strangers, the podcast where I attempt to better understand the world around me by understanding those who inhabit it with me. Everyone has a story, but I just have so many questions. All right, excited for this one today. I'm with my man Derek. Met him maybe 11 minutes ago, so this should be good. Kind of same way we always start though, Derek. If you had to describe your life story in roughly 3 minutes, so if you want to hit any of the significant kind of points where you've lived, family life, and how you got to a Zoom chat talking to me today, how would you do it?
Okay, well, I am a Colorado native. I was born in a little town called Trinidad, Colorado, um, quite a few years back. And kind of my life story starts. I was a preemie baby,
Mhm.
and the town I was born in was called Trinidad, Colorado. And Trinidad, Colorado, at the time was known as the sex change capital of the world.
Huh?
And so the doctor who delivered me was actually credited for saving my life. He was an old Army doctor who kind of had his own practice and said, "We're going to save this baby when I was born." And he used some steroids and some oxygen and some different things. And here I am. I credit my just being alive to just his Army ingenuity, if you will, when I was born in that little town, um, born into a really staunch and strong Italian Catholic family. Grew up going to Our Lady of Everything is a Sin Catholic Church. Um, so worked through that. Grew up in small town Colorado. Fast forward several years, married my college sweetheart. We've been married now almost 24 years. I've got two beautiful daughters. One's 20 and one's 17, and we have the most amazing chocolate lab named Hero. And we just added another yellow Labrador to our family. He's 12 weeks old, and his name is Champ. And I'm a Colorado native.
That's pretty epic. That's a good rundown right there. First of all, you are very good at naming dogs, sir. Champ and Hero. I'm gonna steal those. They say like good dog names have two syllables. So like Hero is pretty good, or like in hard consonants. Like I kind of like the name Kodak or Onyx. I don't know, but they say that's like easier for dogs to pick up. But I still think like Champ and Hero are really those are really good. And I like labs. I would like to have a lab pit mix or something like that. That's awesome. Have you ever met that doctor that saved your life eventually, like as you got older?
Yeah, so being in a small town, he was the
Yeah,
small town doctor.
right.
And growing up, he was everyone else's doctor, and he was also the sex change doctor.
Hmm.
And so you'd go to his office when you would need, you know, penicillin, a shot of penicillin when you got sick or things like that. Um, and there was a glass door that separated both offices. And
Wow.
so on one side of the office was the non-sex change population of the little town, and
Hmm.
the other side was everyone else. And so he would transition back and forth. And I saw him up until I think it was like 12 or 13 years old.
12 or
Um,
13. All right.
and he would always walk in and he goes, "How's my little snapper?" I don't know why he called me that, but for whatever reason, that's what he knew me as. So
Right. Must be an army thing. I don't know.
I,
Yeah, that's
I guess nicknames mean something, I guess.
okay, interesting. Yeah, I mean that's a very interesting niche to be in, like a sex change back in the day, you know? So it's very popular now. I feel like 2023, you can yeah, there's probably a lot of clinics for that, but maybe not so
Yeah.
much in Colorado.
At
Um,
1971, I was like, okay. And so you just grew up as that was kind of who was in your town's population.
mhm, mhm.
But he's the doctor who started the science of it, and at the same time, he also saved my life.
Well, okay. Very interesting. Shout out to that guy wherever he is, if he's still alive. I don't know, but
Yeah.
RIP maybe. Yeah, he's probably passed over. But
He-
okay. And then if you could extrapolate out maybe the next, we'll say 3 years, where do you want your story to be then? Anything you're excited about on the horizon you're working towards right now?
oh gosh. So in the next 3 years, I'm a part of a men's and women's ministry called the Crucible Project.
Okay.
And so I'm working on a leadership role in that ministry. And so I would hope to become a weekend co leader. in the next 3 years. And that's a lot of hard soul work. It's a lot about making sure that I'm a safe leader, making sure that I'm leading from a place of health and not a place out of ego or my own wounding. Um, yeah, so there's that on that front. Yeah, coming up on 25 years with my wife. We are trying to figure out where do we go for that big milestone anniversary. And so planning that in the next couple of years, and hopefully watching my oldest daughter graduate from college. Yeah, and those are the kind of the main things on the horizon.
Hmm.
Um, Possibly starting my own side hustle as well.
Cool.
So working on what that is for me, and seeing where that path takes me.
Nice. Okay. Is 25, is that like, I know in like whatever anniversaries, there's like, this is a silver or this
Yeah,
is like
the
a
silver,
wood. This is a silver for you?
silver.
Got it. First shot. That's pretty good. That's
Yeah,
pretty good. Nice. Silver.
yeah.
Okay. And
You
then
know,
yeah, go for
we tease each other and we say, divorce is not an option, but neither of us said shit about murder.
it. I like that. Oh my gosh. That's always on the table. My dad, he was a firefighter and he worked 38 years at a fire department. And so he picks up so many of these sayings he would bring home with us, right? And me and my brother. And one that he always said was it's cheaper to keep her. So don't
Yeah,
divorce because it's just gonna bleed you dry, right? So it's cheaper to
yeah,
keep her. So shout out to my dad.
yeah.
He's still alive, but I like to still do the shout out like that because it's more
True
fun.
that.
True
Yeah,
that. So yeah, cheaper to keep her. Very
and she's
cool.
got me trained, and I've got her trained, so I don't want to start over. It's been a lot of
Yeah.
work.
You that think of all the memories. I mean, that's just too much. I can't imagine, yeah, redoing anything like that. So okay, very cool. Well, it's interesting that you've left the Our Lady, everything is a sin Catholic Church and you've moved on, So yeah.
Yeah,
That's fair. My dad grew up in a went to a Catholic high school, and then he went to the Vatican and did his Italy trip eventually. So he got to close the chapter, I guess, on that. But he's Protestant now. But
yeah. See, if I'm going to Italy, I'm not going to the Vatican. I'm like,
mhm,
where's the wine? Where's the pasta?
gelato.
Where's the dessert? Like, bring it on. I'm gonna eat my favorite.
Mm.
So
You know what? You bring it up, so I gotta stay it because I gotta stand firm here. Hot take: most overrated cuisine in the world, Italian food. That's my personal beef. I don't know why it's on every list of everything is the best, but I don't know. I think Thai food's really good. I think some of that stuff's underrated, but Italian is always up there. So who knows? Yeah,
it's my favorite. I
is
mean,
it okay?
it is. It's like, in my household, we had turkey at Thanksgiving and
Yep.
grandma's lasagna.
Ah, okay. So you had a
So,
little bit of both.
you know, so it was like, and when my wife joined the family, she was like, "You have pasta with Thanksgiving dinner?" I'm like, "Yeah, who doesn't?" Oh,
Oh yeah.
guess not.
99% of Americans. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. Another hot take, turkey is the most overrated thing on Thanksgiving dinner anyway. So we don't need turkey. I would even though Italian food's overrated, I would rather eat lasagna than eat turkey because that's even worse and it's super dry. So
You
um
haven't eaten my turkey. It's
oh, that's what
dry.
everyone says, sir.
No, no, no,
Yeah.
no. But I'm right.
But you're the right. Watch your ego. You said you wanted to watch your ego about the church. Now I'm gonna call you on your food. Okay, yeah.
No,
Just kidding.
no one's ever complained
No,
because they've
okay.
had their mouth full of food, and when you're chowing down, you can't complain. So
It's a good point. My dad also said that hunger is the best spice. So just keep people waiting around long enough, and then whatever you eat is probably going to taste amazing. So,
that's fair.
um, yeah, so that's super important. I guess my dad had a lot of sayings thinking about it. But all
Well, I
right,
think you
well,
paid attention to what your dad had to say.
maybe that's it. I was just thinking next level, 4D chess, trying to pick up that knowledge from my dad, and it stuck. So I think he'll be proud of that. I'll let him know. Yeah. Okay, and then let's get into the main. Let's start the show. That was the
Go for it.
intro. Let's start the real show. The first one here's going to be a COVID related question. It's going to be, what's your best sorry I couldn't because of COVID excuse that you ever made over the last 2 or plus years? Did you use COVID as any
Mm.
kind of way to get out of doing some social engagement or anything?
Gosh, what's my best COVID excuse? Honestly, I don't know that I have one
Okay,
because
so
I
you're
don't know
honest.
that I don't I if anything, I was the guy that was like, "Hey, we're not sick. You're not sick. You want to come over?"
Nice.
Um,
So you're patient
or
zero. That's good.
yeah, so it was
You
one of
brought
those
it.
things. I can't think I had a COVID excuse. If anything, I was the one breaking the rules.
You were regular. Okay, there's always the one, and I think we found him. So I'm gonna get the police over to Colorado and take care of you after this. Yeah. Nice, man. You're honest. Okay, and you just kind of trudge through. I respect that. I feel like I used the. I was exposed. My friend was exposed, and then I don't have to go to this anymore, right? So I use that a lot. But yeah, I respect your honesty, sir. You're a better man than me, Derek. Okay, so I'll give you that. Second question is going to be a deep question, and this is going to
Okay.
be, what do you most want out of life? You got to answer
What
that.
do, what do I want most out of life?
Yeah.
Um, I want lots of friendships and relationships.
Okay.
Uh, uh, I want to make sure that I'm known in my community um, for who I am and what I bring to the table. Um, I don't want to be one of those guys that's a recluse that's stuck, never being known. And I guess I can say I'm kind of living that.
Mm-hmm.
I go out and my kids are like, Dad, you know everybody. Um,
Mm,
okay, like that's good because
yeah.
when my oldest daughter got a speeding ticket, I knew the officer who gave her the ticket, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, so how was it meeting Officer Chacon? And she was like, oh, how do you know? I know people. So what do I want most out of life? Relationships with lots of people.
I like that. I think if you strip everything else away, it always comes back to relationships in some way, shape, or form. Family, love life, anything. I mean, it's just I fully support the idea that we're here for other people and to become better ourselves and make our surrounding community better. So it's all about relationships at the end of the day. So that's a good one. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
really important to think just in general, like have that kind of thought reoccurring of what am I actually trying to get at it? What am I working towards? So that's cool.
Yep.
I respect that.
Yep.
Let's hit you with the fun one to kind of change the tone there. This is the scenario. The world is ending in 15 minutes. You're allowed 2 phone calls to anyone on the planet. Who do you call and who gets more time on the phone? Or do you split it up 7.5 and 7.5 minutes? What do you do there?
So the world's ending.
Yeah.
Um,
Asteroid impact, let's say asteroid impact. And you get two
so
phone calls.
2 phone calls. Um, both my daughters. They each get one.
That makes sense. Do you give one
Yep.
daughter 12 minutes and one daughter 3 minutes? Or do you 50
Um,
50 it? Who do you like one more
well,
than the other?
well, knowing both of my daughters, one of them will be freaking out and she'll be like, "Why are you calling me right now?" And
Right.
the other one will be like, "Okay, you're not dead yet. Good. See you in a few." So,
Text me.
so
Text me.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think either one will even be worried about the time. They'll just be like, "Why are you calling in the middle of
Mm,
this?"
right.
But being their dad, I think they might go, "You're calling in the middle of this?" So,
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Because they're 17 and 20, you said?
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
I feel like they're at that age. They're there. They're still, at least arm's distance away from you at any given time.
yeah.
They don't want to
Or,
be.
or their response will be, "Can you text me?"
Yes, I did that a lot to my parents. Yes, they always bring that up. Yeah,
Yeah,
constantly wanting to
but
text, but
I'm probably doing a shot of whiskey as well, going, "Okay, here we go."
mm-hmm. Last drink of choice. What would your final shot be?
Um, E.H. Taylor 10-year single malt whiskey.
This guy alcohols for everybody. Wow, that was impressive. I don't even know what any of those words mean, but I heard whiskey, I think.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. Yeah, that's some stuff is strong. I can't take whiskey. I mean, I could do it. Won't be happy about it, but respect. I'm more of a ale lager, that kind of guy. Yeah. I can't even do IPAs really. So
Like
yeah.
Like, are you really a White Claw guy? I mean,
No, 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 no. I don't do the
okay, okay,
claws.
okay.
I'm an ales, a lagers, stouts. I do that, but I've thrown one or two claws back in my life, but it's not my go-to. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Skinny
But
cans go with skinny jeans.
oh, is that the saying? Okay, I'm gonna add that to my dad list. Yeah, skinny cans, I'm just accumulating lists on lists at this point. That's pretty good. Cool. So that was a fun one. Let's go to an extremely random one here. Do
Okay.
you know how far a light year is?
No, I do not.
Do you, do you know the speed of light?
No. I
I
went
think
to
it.
public school, dude.
You went to public school. All right. I think it's 3.0 times 10 to the 8. I think that's what it is, meters a second. Someone could fact check that, but I don't know why that's on my random list here. Maybe because it's that random, but you did know that a light year is a distance, right? Is obviously.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did know
Public
that.
school got you that far. That's good. That's good. That's good. Cool. Next one is a fun one. It's gonna be, what do you really want to get off your chest right now? Anything you're just losing
I
sleep
really
over, something you're really angry about, or what do you want to shout out to the world?
shout out to the world. Gosh, deal with your crap.
Hmm.
Deal
Okay.
with your own personal crap. Stop blaming your mom. Stop blaming your dad.
Right.
Maybe you're just a shithead for a reason.
Right.
You made choices. Quit blaming everybody else for where you are at in life. Take some responsibility and suck it up.
Nice. That's a good one. I think,
Quit, how about this? Quit
yeah.
being a victim.
Quit being a victim. I like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, my generation obviously gets, it's always the whatever, the youngest generation at the time that gets the everything thrown at them basically. But maybe my generation is unique. I'm a millennial, uniquely gravitating towards victimhood, which is the worst. I agree, the worst thing in the world to attach yourself to. I just listened to Jocko's podcast about Booker T. Washington, and that guy had the worst life, and he took the
Yep.
most anti-victim mindset you could possibly have. So I mean, that was just incredible to listen to, and I think everyone should kind of listen to that. So I
It's
co-sign that.
like the blame game.
Yeah.
You know, Republicans blame the Democrats. The Democrats blame the Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
And if they have nothing else to do, they blame Trump or they blame Putin or they. It's just,
Yeah.
I just feel like everybody's blaming everybody for something, and I'm like, wait a minute, you played a role.
Mm-hmm.
You made choices, so stop
Right.
blaming everybody. Take some responsibility.
Yeah, it kind of is like that extreme ownership Jocko mindset as well. So there's always some part you played in whatever downturn in your life, whether it was your attitude, how you treated other people, your whatever it could be. And it's not necessarily 100% factual that it's all your fault, but there's always some blame that you can take and kind of pick up yourself, and you could have done better, right? So
Yep.
it's still a useful philosophy nonetheless, is that extreme, ownership. And that's a good one. I like that. Get that off your chest. I think if anyone picked that up, that would be an awesome thing to take away just from this episode. So, cool. Next one's going to be kind of random, but what do you do to become a better human? What would you say is like your one or two habits that you just do every day or do weekly, monthly, that really help you to become a better person?
So yeah, this is, I don't know if this one you've probably ever heard, but I pay attention to where I'm wounded.
Whoa, never heard that before. Explain.
So I believe as human beings we're all wounded to
Mhm.
some degree, and those wounds that we've taken on, whether from a parent or a coach or someone that we thought loved us or that we love them back,
Mhm.
they've wounded us, they've hurt us, um, and I think we oftentimes build our identity out of those wounds, and we live out of those wounds. And
Mhm.
so, I'll be the first to say I was wounded. My
Mhm.
parents were some pretty awful people for a good part of my life.
Mhm.
Um, and I lived out of those wounds of taking care of everybody while not taking care of myself. So my thought would be, pay attention to where you're wounded and work on healing from those wounds so you're not living from them.
Interesting. How do you think you maybe forgiven your parents for how they raised you, those kind of specific instances, and how did you come to that position in your life? Was that probably a difficult thing to do, forgiveness, or are you still holding on
Um,
to grudges or
yeah, no, forgiveness was a lot of work.
Mhm.
If I could boil it down to a thought, as I worked through anger and bitterness and unforgiveness, I was able to see my parents in the places where they were wounded and where they were broken.
Mm,
Um, and in a sense, came to the realization that they did the best they had with what they were given. Um, and doesn't make it right.
mhm.
Sure wasn't easy, but I could see them for where they were, and I could hold in tension their bad as
Right,
well as pay attention to they really tried hard and they loved me and living in that place of tension and acknowledging both. You were
right.
a really bad parent, but I also know you loved me.
Mm,
So holding that intention and being able to see them for both what they were. Um,
yeah,
uh, and just realizing they did the best they could. Um,
right.
but because I know that, the pressure's on me to do better.
True. Yeah, you have that kind of modeled maybe for you, whoever your parents and their lifestyle and their parenting style was, but I feel like it's kind of on us to try to push that farther, like you said, right? Try to not just emulate, what they did, but see it for what it is in the context of maybe how they were raised, and then try to push the bar further and be better, obviously. So,
Hmm.
yeah, damn, that's powerful right there for sure. I think it's a tension that I think a lot of people are kind of weighing, and it's hard to zone out that much and see what's even in tension when you're so focused on one side of the seesaw and just how you were treated and mistreated and all this kind of back to the whole victim thing. I'm the way I am because my parents screwed me up, right? So
Yeah.
that's powerful to think that there's a bigger story, obviously, and maybe they are flawed. Everybody's flawed trying to raise people, and there's no parenting book that's perfect or could ever possibly
Yeah.
be written for every circumstance. So
Well, it's
um
like, I have my story.
mhm.
I did some digging and found out about their story,
Mm,
where things in their childhood led to them being who the adults they became,
mhm,
and played into it and went, oh, I'm not sure if that happened to me, how I'd behave,
mhm.
but that does make sense why my dad's so angry all the time.
Right.
You know, that does make sense why my mom is pretty damn codependent.
Mhm.
Um, there are things that were done to them that made them into the adults they became.
Right.
And then, unfortunately, to some degree, their crap fell on me.
Yes. 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 That's a very interesting. It always brings up the philosophical free will argument for me, and I hear stuff like that because again, it's that kind of phrase here: hurt people, right? So,
Yep.
how much of that is we're such a product of our environment, especially when you're a child, right? You could be really messed up when your psychology isn't fully developed or brain or anything, right? So many of these pedophiles, so many of these whatever, is because they were abused horribly when they were a child. So that throws a whole lot of free will stuff and like, well, how much could they control? And if I was abused, what would I be like? I had such a stable family growing up. I mean, that's everything I am today is really, I think, mostly because of my parents and the way I was raised. So that's kind of the luck of the draw for me. I mean, so it's interesting, to think about. But yeah, let's get another deep question now that we're on that. Here's a good one for you, I guess. Who or what is God to you? How would you define God?
So, God to me is Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Um, that's a pretty easy one for me to answer.
Mm-hmm. And the person, the Trinity, so God,
Yep.
Father, Son, Holy Spirit, all
Yep.
that. Okay. Nice.
Yep.
That was an easy one for you. Didn't have to go too deep. You got
No.
the person. Has that evolved for you over time where it wasn't always Jesus? Maybe it was anything other spiritual
Um,
wise?
no. Growing up Catholic, there was always this concept of God in my life.
Right.
If anything, though, being raised Catholic, I thought, he's always pissed off at me.
Mm.
And I didn't know what I'd done to be, in a sense, on his radar and something that he's pissed and angry at. And so, as
Hmm.
kind of I, worked on my faith journey, had to look at kind of what those messages were about, but then about, um, is he real or is he not? And I did that. I went to Bible college.
Hmm.
I got kicked out of Bible college,
Nice. There's a
and
story there for sure.
yeah,
Too much
oh, for
whiskey, huh?
sure.
Too much
Uh,
whiskey. Yeah.
Something like that. I wish it would have been at the time. Um, but no, I had a lot of theological questions.
Hmm.
And you should not send a very zealous young Christian to a Bible college, because I had too many questions that they weren't able to answer.
Yeah.
And I was just disruptive. I mean, I was a jerk.
Okay.
I'd ask theological questions that would not be pertinent to the class
Hmm.
curriculum, and they'd be like, "We're not here to talk about today." And I'm like, "Well, yes, we are going to talk about that today."
Mm.
So work through that. After I got kicked out of Bible college, I really had to figure out like who is God and what does He mean in my life. And as I tested Scripture and tested Jesus, it became true.
Hmm.
Uh, and and that's where it. Uh, um, I'm a Christian now. I made my faith my own. I heard something a long time ago that says, if you're going to get to heaven, you're not going to get to heaven on your parents' faith. God's going to judge you for your faith in Him and
Right.
your works and your actions. And so I made it my own. And I can say today, like the hymn says, "It is well with my soul."
Nice. Love that. Yeah. There's a lot of good hymns. I kind of grew up in a Christian household, so I think a lot of the Psalms, I think Ecclesiastes, most slept on book in the Bible for sure. There's some real shit in Ecclesiastes. I always love that. I was like, this guy is getting existential on me. I like this, Solomon or whoever. So he's my real
Meaningless,
dude. Yeah.
meaningless. Everything is meaningless.
Right? Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. It doesn't get better than that, sir. I know. That's some good poetry right there. I try to write poetry, spoken word stuff every once in a while. So I like taking inspiration from anything. And there's probably no better place than, some of the ancient poets and psalms and stuff like that. So I'm a huge fan of that. So very cool. I like that.
There's a lot of wisdom that you can find in old dead guys.
I mean, old dead. Why did old dead guys have all the? It's crazy. Yeah, I guess you got to die to be profound. One day I'll be profound once I pass. Yeah, hopefully there's something left over from all these nuggets of episodes I've taken where I can come to a unique thought. Maybe not just you or my dad's sayings, right? But some conscious stuff that I've put out. So that would be the plan. One day, one day, one day. Hopefully not for a while though. But
Yeah,
yes,
let's not rush that process.
not rush. Cool. I have a celebrity question. So this is a friend. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be on a podcast with
Okay.
somebody, and this is what she submitted for me to ask you. So excited
Okay.
about this. This is gonna be, what are you pretending not to know? Take that however you want. What are you pretending not to know?
I
Again,
don't know how to answer that question.
Derek hasn't seen any of these questions today, so he's choosing the hard path. So this man's going off the
Yeah.
top of the head. So I respect it. Anything you're you could think of? Maybe it's a pass, maybe not, maybe nothing coming up, but
I mean, the principle applies. I don't know what I don't know.
right. Yes. That is true. Is there
So,
okay? Is there
so,
anything
so,
you
so,
should be doing right now, but you're delaying for some reason?
hmm, what I should be doing.
Yeah. Any duty or any
I
haven't
should be saving more money than I am right now.
mm, so you're pretending not to know that retirement's a thing, maybe?
I don't admit retirement is even real,
Yeah.
but I should be saving more.
Okay.
I should be saving more. I should be doing that. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I should be doing that more.
it's fair. Okay, this guy's going financial on us. I like it. We have 10 minutes left in the show. We're gonna keep going. The other question, again, celebrity shout out to Ariel if she's listening. This one's gonna be a little fun, kind of mixed one. It's gonna be, if you could only pick two of the five senses, what would you choose? It's in the sight, touch, all that. Two of the five.
Touch and taste.
Touch and taste. Okay.
Double
You,
T's.
you want to touch the whiskey and then you want to drink the whiskey. I like it. I respect it. Yeah.
Um, yeah. Taste is food.
Mm-hmm.
It's the taste of my wife's lips against mine. Or
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's touch too. Maybe they're combined.
Wow, this guy's just
Um,
doubled them up in one. I
um,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I picked touch because uh, you asked a COVID question, and I
Mm-hmm.
had a good buddy that churches were locked down. People were locked down, and he said, next time we hang out, can I just ask you something? And I was like, sure. And he's like, it's gonna be kind of weird. And I'm like, okay. And he goes, I haven't been touched like a handshake, a hug from anybody in more than 3 months.
Right.
Can I just have a hug? And I was like, okay, and so for me, touch has become a really important thing. I've watched where people, push away from a touch.
Right.
Um, but I've also noticed how, I've got a group of five guys that we are the best of friends,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and we're always hugging on each other, slapping each other's ass,
Mm-hmm.
giving each other wet willies, that kind of thing. But touch is so important to our friendship and our relationship. And so
Right.
touch is really important. And then just taste.
Right.
Taste of my wife's lips, taste of good food,
Mm-hmm.
good wine, good whiskey.
Lasagna.
Um,
Yeah.
you know.
I
So
like
yeah,
that. That's good. That's
touch and
I
taste.
think that is huge. Obviously, of all the things COVID did, it was really that, like you said, the barrier of physical touch, right? That was everything.
Yeah.
So many studies about release of oxytocin, the calming effect, right? And so to see a lot of people pass, family members, not me personally, but in
Yeah.
general, the nation, see a lot of family members pass without even being in the same room as the family member, right? Because of precautions is really a sad state of affairs to think about what we kind of went through the last 3 years. So that just kind of reminds everybody. I think I work in healthcare, so a lot of my job is one-on-one, hands-on kind of thing, and even if it's not anything like research based where you need to do a certain joint manipulation or something, even just again placing a hand on a patient's knee and checking range of motion, or just being there, right, and guiding them
Mhm.
through a specific position can kind of de-threaten that position, that motion. So there's always debates in every field, right? But there's a lot of debate on how much manual therapy and hands-on physical therapists should be doing versus chiropractors or whatever. And I think there's, regardless of the research, I think there's something specific on, like you said, just that touch, calming a patient down and letting them know, and kind of reassuring them that you have, their best interest in mind when you're trying to do an exercise or something.
Yeah.
So it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be
Yeah.
specific. It could be just very general.
Well, it's about connection.
Mm-hmm.
You think about somebody who doesn't want to be touched.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned wounds earlier. Well, where are they wounded that they don't want to be touched anymore?
Right.
You know, whereas, you look at me and my buddies, and people are like, you guys really know each other. Like you
Mm-hmm.
guys, you, and
That's
somebody
cool.
say, you don't just, greet each other, like you hug each other,
Right.
you know, and we do. And it's one of those things of we are bonded for life.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to blow up my life, those are the men that'll show up in my garage and say, "What the hell are you doing?"
Right.
And I hope that if I'm in my brokenness, that they're going to give me a hug.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a good friend in my battle team, Trev, and he always says you got to think about who's going to carry your casket. So who are those 4, 5, 6 individuals, right, that can be there from the day you die or whatever, that would actually be willing to carry your casket, and like think of prioritizing those people, right? So
Yeah,
very powerful thought indeed. Sounds like you have your 5, which is awesome, or 4, right? So that's
I do.
perfect.
I do.
And then we're kind of bumping up on the 4-minute mark, right? So I'll end as I always end with, if you could ask a stranger any question in the world, nothing was too superficial or too deep, what would you ask, and what would you want to know about your fellow human?
Um, I want to ask them what brings you joy
Mm,
and what makes you sad.
two parallels. Wow. What if that's the same thing? I was kidding. Maybe.
No, it can be.
It can
Like
be. What would
it
bring me
can be.
joy and sadness at the same time? I don't know. Seeing friends, right? I guess that would be like seeing, because I'm out of state. My family's back in California, so I guess reuniting with people, that would be joyful and yet sad at the same time, because it's like, nah, I don't see you, right? So like
Well,
that could be a similar one, but
well, you showing up to your next Thanksgiving and all they have is overrated Italian food and turkey. That's dry.
yeah. That's right.
Yay,
I
Thanksgiving!
gotta try your
Oh,
special turkey. Yeah. What is the secret? What is it? Deep fried? What's the secret to the turkey? If you had to go real quick.
it's all about the brine, baby.
Brine. Okay, so you're a brine man.
You
Okay.
gotta brine it.
Gotta brine it. That's what I have failed to do for 31 years on this planet, and why I think it's the most overrated thing ever. Okay. Yeah.
See, see, you failed, and look at your experience with turkey. I
Right.
mean, hey, Butterball, here's a shout out. Can you sponsor Tyler? Send
Yep.
some cash, send some birds his way.
Hash money, some birds, fly away. I don't know how to butterfly, whatever's happening. Yeah.
Instead of Tyler talks to strangers, Tyler talks turkey.
Tyler talks turkey. Tyler gets paid. That's the show that I want to create, sir. That was a good interview, and you didn't see any of the questions, so you get bonus points for today. I need like a little like alarm buzzer, like some fancy like horn that blows every time the question, or that every time a participant doesn't see the questions, because that's a hard job. So I respect you, sir. Any
Good.
final things you want to say before we head off here?
Um, you didn't ask me who if I were to have dinner with somebody, who would that be?
Okay, I do have that in my question bank. It wasn't on your list today. 3 dinner guests. Who would you take, living or dead?
Um, Teddy Roosevelt.
I would support that.
Teddy Roosevelt. Um, Gandhi.
Good.
Um, oh gosh.
Always the third one
Uh,
that gets them.
who's the third?
It's always the third one that gets them.
Who's the third?
You can keep it. You can keep it light. You can keep it with 2. Just
Yeah, I don't
Gandhi and
know.
Teddy. Teddy and Gandhi. They'll talk
Yeah,
enough for the whole people, for the whole entourage.
yeah.
Cool. All right, Derek. Well, I'll leave you to it. Again, thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
You bet.
Everybody out there listening, I thank you for your support. This is Tyler telling you to go talk to a stranger. Peace. Nice. All right, we'll end that there.